If you've listened to the news these past weeks, you know the sound of shifting sands. Silver and gold markets, those steadfast barometers of global anxiety, didn't just move, they roared, folks. The primary trend dominating both metals was the intensifying beat of that Federal Reserve. We saw weaker economic data, a dip in manufacturing, flattening of hiring, which often tells the market one thing: rate cuts are coming. This expectation weakened the dollar and gave both gold and silver the green light to surge towards record territories, with silver in particular posting some of its most explosive gains in years. We're going to look at that, folks. Now, for gold, the yellow metal is being anchored by two forces that we're very aware of: central banks buying, as it's a global hedge, as we all know, and geopolitical tensions, because it apparently is the ultimate safe harbor that we've all come to understand. But silver, it's a completely different animal. Its rally is turbocharged by what seems to be some kind of a structural supply deficit. The world simply isn't mining enough of the metal to meet the explosive, raw, real-world demand from the green energy transitions, or at least the refiners are a pinch point of that, seeming that every new solar panel, electric vehicle, or advanced computer chip demands more of this stuff, creating the relentless industrial floor. And another thing is that gold over here is well worth people's time to reclaim in the few industrial uses that it finds itself in, whereas silver, for the most part, isn't being reclaimed, at least at the scale that gold is. So much of the gold that we've ever pulled out of the ground is still in circulation. A lot of this is in waste depositories throughout the world, unfortunately. Just kind of where we're at. The trend is clear, folks. While gold is responding to fear of monetary policy gone soft, silver seems to be bifurcated to both monetary fears and tangible real-world shortages, but both metals are currently trading with extreme bullish momentum, as we have seen. What seems to be driven by capital fleeing uncertainty and seeking stability. But that is why we do this. It's to look into this Wall Street Journal to understand where we're at with our physical assets, what the market's doing as well, because guess what? It's okay if the markets do well and metals do well, folks. We want those 401ks to benefit everyone, just like we want physical assets to do the same. So that's why we do this. Let's look into it. Let's see what you did this week with the markets and the metal. Well, right here, front page. I know we have a lot of viewers who are copper people. Copper prices climbed here. A record driven by fears of global supply shortage and anticipation of a rate cut. Did I just say that? I feel like I just said that. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the market data, folks. Oh, by the way, this is a box from APMEX that I will be opening here in the next few days. I do unboxings every single month. $100 a month doesn't go very far, folks, but I chose $100 to prove that you can do it too. My whole collection built on $100 a month. So if you have seen the vast troves of my collection, do know that everything that I've done, you can do too. I started this channel to bring hope into metals and not fear you into buying anything. Definitely not my style. So love the stuff you buy. Bring some joy to your life by doing it. But this will be fun. And speaking of APMEX, this video is also sponsored by APMEX, the American Precious Metals Exchange. It's where I go every single month, as I am a collector more than a stacker. I do stack stuff on occasion, but I am a collector first. I love the stories, the culture, the history, all of those things that silver provides. And so when I'm looking for new, fresh pieces to add to my collection, things that I've never seen or heard or anything like that before, APMEX always has what I need. It's the only place that I've looked at and always found new, fresh things. Some of the other companies I do like, I think they do great jobs, but they honestly have a lot of things that are run-of-the-mill. And they don't have a lot of the unique stuff that a collector might enjoy. And so that's why I love APMEX. All right, let's get back into it. The Dow Jones Industrial, folks. Take a look at this. We always seem to find the Q4 has a lull when it comes to these markets, and we seem to be at that point. It'll be interesting if Q1 of 2026, when all the market data comes through on the Christmas sales and that type of thing, and the consumer sentiment, what we see shift in this stuff. We very well could be waiting for a new all-time high to happen in that Q1. 47954 is what we have here. It is up 104 points, so it's trending in the right direction, but that's only a quarter of a percentile. Your all-time high, as you see here, happened last month on the 12th, so we are almost a full month away from our all-time high. Here's the roller coaster we all know and love, and that little pink dotted line is your all-time high, so we are going towards it. If the trend keeps on its pace, then we will get there before Christmas. But we know how these things go. Sometimes it goes up and sometimes it goes down. S&P 500 right here, 6870, 13 points on the week, 0.19. So not much different there from the Dow Jones. All-time high happened right around Halloween, so we're about 2 months out on that one. But it is pretty close, as the all-time high was 6890 and we're at 6870. So 20 points away from an all-time high in the S&P 500. So we're right on the cusp. I think that we could be seeing that here in the next week or two. We'll see. NASDAQ, folks, we have 23,578, 72 points up, or 0.3. So of the three, it had the highest percentage gain. Highest point, once again, right around Thanksgiving. And you can see the bottom fell out a little bit right here, but it has been on the elevator up. And we have the pink line there representing where we need to get, which is not ultimately all that far. It's about 400 points away. All right, so let's talk about something before we get to the international stocks. Take a look at this. The Forex race. We have seen the US dollar, blah, blah, blah. It's been crap. We know that. But at least we're not alone. We like friends. Here's the yen, folks. Look at that. So the yen and the US dollar have about found themselves in the bottom of the pail, which is the first time all year that I've seen that. The euro way up here, and that's really hard to actually understand the power of the euro because of the complexity of the European markets, which have basically become a central bank. But yeah, not that all that really matters. We'll see what happens here if we get some really, really good news. And I know some states, for example, are backing gold and silver, Texas being the biggest of them. Florida has done it recently. By November of next year, Texas is supposed to issue gold and silver specie. All these things are supposed to be happening. So we'll see if that does anything to our dollar. I have no idea. International stocks. Canada down 0.5 percentage point there. Brazil down almost 4%. Which is absolutely crazy for 1 week. We know there's been some weird things going on there, but they're still up 31 points on the year. Not bad there. We go down. Everything's well within range here. Denmark sees the green side of things for the first time in some time. They got a 0.5 percentage point or so up, but they're still negative 26% on the year. Experts seem to think that that's mostly because they are driven by pharmaceuticals, and with Ozempic and these others being so volatile, that is really swaying their market. South Africa, right here, up 1.4. So those Krugerrands in your pocket, let them jingle. They're doing good over there in South Africa for the moment. They're up 33% on the year, folks. We have Turkey over here. Turkey is up 0.81, and we have seen them be extremely volatile all year long. Everything else is well within range. Asia Pacific, China is up 0.7. They're 16% on the year. Hong Kong is sitting there at a 0.6, or really 0.58, so almost 0.6 of a percentage point there. Japan down 1%. We have South Korea up 1.78%. They are 70% in the positive this year. What is going on there in South Korea, other than obviously the crazy technological sector that they have created? Taiwan is also up. Our friends over there floating in the ocean. So that is what the markets have done this particular week. Let's take a look at some charts for you, so that you can understand how this looks visually, because sometimes that's how we learn best. I know I'm a visual person, and that's okay. Silver spot price here, $58.57. And yes, that means that this week we are up 2.7%, as that's about $1.20 up on the week. And yes, folks, this year we finally hit the mark. We've been waiting for this. It is over 100% year to date. It has grown almost $30 on the year. That is 101%. Ring those bells if you have them. That is absolutely crazy. 100% growth on silver this year. Who would have thought that? Gold, on the other hand, went down this week $17. It basically stayed flat all week. There was not a whole lot of dips or spikes or anything like that. It came back home just $17 shy of where it started, which is only about 0.5%, 0.42, as you see here. And year to date, that puts gold at almost 60% growth. They've gained $1,500, 59.63 to be exact is the percentage. Very, very solid there. Really cool times in the metal world. It doesn't necessarily feel good on my pocketbook knowing that I'm paying a lot more for things that I've bought for years. But hey, maybe the perspective is for years I've bought things on sale and now they've caught on to me and my discount card no longer works, and so I have to buy them at market price. I don't know. It just makes me feel a little bit better. But that's what we have for you today. Please remember, as always, stay classy and current with the culture of currency.